Thank you for coming tonight. I see you put yourself down for 10 minutes, so if you can introduce yourself first, and then you're off. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, my name is Deborah Beattie. I was one of the Parkside parent reps on the West Arc Committee. And like others before me, I'm here tonight to provide you with some facts and some additional info to assist you in making decisions surrounding the Dundas High School situations. I certainly know from experience we were tasked with carrying very heavy binders, and out of consideration for you and having to carry a lot of heavy binders for the different arcs, I wanted to provide you some of the information from that arc, information from West Arc binders that I think will be very helpful for you for going forward. Before I begin, let me warn you that if this was being shown on HBO, it would come with the following warning. The slides you are about to see contain graphic images that should evoke some profanity, especially if you're a Dundas taxpayer. But let me begin. My first 4 slides are an excerpt from the presentation made by Facilities Management to members of the West Arc on June 16th. The presentation was intended to provide further proof that there is a limited amount of dollars to feed our crumbling schools and garner support for the need to eliminate some schools in order to free up monies. Let's start with the first slide. And for best use of time, I'm only going to draw your attention to 2 numbers on each slide. That would be the overall total spend, which you'll see at the very bottom of the slide, and as well the 10-year renewal needs, which is about the middle point of each slide. So we're starting with Ancaster here. As you can see, over the last 10 years, they've had $3,884,000 roughly spent, with a renewal, 10-year renewal need of $18,875,000. Next, we move to Highland. They had a spend of $2,073,624 with 10-year renewal needs of $20,492. On to Parkside. That's $308,940. That is not a typo. That is not $3 million. That's $308,000 with 10-year renewal needs of $13,818. So in summary, a total of, Westdale, how can I forget? Westdale, $9,161,976 with 10-year renewal needs of $28,705,000. So in summary, roughly a total of $15.5 million was spent on the 4 West Arc schools, and Parkside has existed on 2% of that money. I'd like to use the 4-letter F word called fair here, which obviously it's not in the slightest, but that it is what it is, and that's how we've survived. Yet despite being treated like this, it has the lowest renewal needs according to this report. In fact, when this report was initially presented, I suggested that perhaps the amount of spend on Parkside was so low because it was in fairly good shape. And the answer was, yeah, it might be. So with that information, yet we're the school slated for closure when we can prove that we've existed on minimal funding. You saw the state of Ancaster with the great pictures that they showed, and yet they got 10 times the monies that we did over 10 years. So you can only imagine what the inside of Parkside looks like. One of the students told me recently that the only way they got a washroom fixed was they did a YouTube video. And that was so embarrassing that that's when we got the washroom fixed. That's a pretty sad statement. But wait, just like HBO, the story gets better. So the next slide, again, an excerpt from the same presentation, provides the vision statement from Facilities Management, which says, Facilities Management creating effective environments that stimulate academic achievement. I don't know whether spending $308,000 on a school over 10 years is exactly going to do that. And in fairness, I think some of you would probably agree there's possibility you've spent $30,000 on your home in a given year and you don't have 600 students going through the front door every day. And yet, despite that pittance, Parkside students still continue to perform, as evidenced by the next slide taken from the Fraser Institute website. It's a little difficult to see, but again, in the interest of time, I'm just going to ask you to look at the second to last column there, which is indicating all the high schools in the Hamilton Wentworth District School Board. and it shows the rating in the most recent 5 years among those schools. So Parkside is tied for the top spot, along with Waterdown and Westmount. Interestingly enough, neither of these schools were involved in the ARC process. So before moving to my last point, let's address the issue before us tonight. You as trustees are tasked with a very important assignment of making the right decision as to what to do with the dollars when dollars are tight, new budgets don't look promising, enrollment is declining according to the projections we've received, and on top of all this, you are pressured to ensure that your decision contributes to a top-notch educational environment that encourages academic achievement. As you've already seen tonight by evidence of Tim's fine drawings, we at Parkside are a realistic group. We know that we're not likely going to get a brand new school. We'd like one, but we're asking for a renovated one in the right location that will benefit the greatest number of people. And in reviewing the notes from the Committee of the Whole, which I believe you all received March 5th, it would appear you're trying to get some answers to help you with this quest. And I appreciate the effort all of the trustees have put into asking some very good questions in this 140-page document. Unfortunately, much like any good drama, there's going to be some red herrings along the way. For instance, on page 100, the question is posed by Trustee Brennan, what's the actual downside to rebuilding Parkside beside the driving park? The answer is site size and location within the community. So you've now seen Tim's drawings, which illustrate the site size is fine, and the school has a history of handling the proposed number of students if Highland and Parkside were to merge. Location within the community, which suggests there'd be a traffic volume problem. So I'm now at my final point, and there is no slide because I want to pose it to you as a homework assignment. We're in the Board of Education, why not? So in order for you to make an educated decision, and I know you also have jobs besides this one, but if at all possible, take 2 separate mornings, approximately 30 minutes before school starts, and visit both Parkside and Highland. Watch the buses enter the schools, watch parents drop off their kids, and monitor the traffic flow. We asked for this as part of the West ARC review in terms of a traffic study, but that's yet to happen. If this was a legal drama, the answers that you're receiving from the Committee of the Whole document on this particular question would be leading the witness, but I digress. In closing, I only ask that you consider all the facts to make the right decision, not all of the info that you're being provided by a group of people that might have a very different agenda. I thank you for your time, and I'm open to any questions you might have.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Any questions for, Karen? Yes, Karen, thank you.
Thank you very much, Deb, for your presentation. Can you tell us what staff's response was to the $308,000 that was spent?
Staff's, like at the time when we were going through West ARC?
Yes, please.
Yeah, the answer, the question was just when we got all of that information presented to us, I brought it up and said, if I understand your numbers correctly, you have spent $15.5 million and we only got 2%. And I don't understand how that happens. And in fairness to facilities management, then the next question I just posed was, is that because Parkside is in good shape? Is that why you're only spending that amount of money? And he said, yes, yeah, it could be. I mean, you'll see if you went back to that slide, not to belabor the point, but under mechanical, there was $0 spent at Parkside for 10 years. Now, in fairness, I'm not trying to pretend I know everything that would fall under mechanical, but so nothing broke in mechanical or just nothing was fixed? I'm gonna go with nothing was broke because in fairness, I'm assuming if it was broke, we would have got it fixed. So I'm just saying, pretty good shape. And there wasn't too much more said about it. It was just a pretty glaring fact.
I guess I was asking because you said they responded that yes, could be. So either it could be or it could not be.
Yeah, the answer was more yes, it could be that it's in good shape. Was
so you
how
didn't
it was
get
taken.
a definitive answer?
No, I wouldn't say that that's the definitive answer. No.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for clarification? Trustee Brennan?
Was that question then, following up from Trustee Turkstra, was that question in the public forum of the ARC committee?
That's the question. Was it in the public?
What, did I ask the
Sorry,
question?
I'm just following up from Trustee Turkstra, who asked a question regarding that 300K. I just wanted to know if the question was asked and answered in the public meeting of the ARC committee.
Would you know that?
It was asked at one of the West Arc meetings. I'm not sure, Jessica, whether I'm answering your question correctly, but during one of the West Arc sessions, in fact, when the presentation was made on June 16th, whenever that meeting was, that's when I asked that question to facilities management.
In the public, in the meeting?
In the meeting,
Yes.
yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. Looking for a motion to receive. Thank you, Trustee Turkstra, seconded by Trustee Johnstone this time. I have to spread the wealth. Okay, all those in favor of receiving? That is unanimous. I'd like to thank you for bringing your presentation to us today.
Thanks for your time.
Yes,